Hello everybody, it's Shadows Rain here, and today I'm going to be showing you my class layout for Warzone. So it's pretty straightforward. So I like to run 4 different classes, and the guns that I run in them change near enough every day. But the reason I only have 4 is because I don't want to be spoiled for choice, and I don't want to be like a little kid in a sweet shop every time I enter a loadout box. So with that being said, allow me to introduce basically what I think we should be doing with it. So essentially, you want to have as much versatility in it as possible. So you want to have something for really far range, and you want to have something for really short range as well, within the same classes if preferable. So yep, if you have one weapon in there which has a big like shortcoming, which could be it's not very long range, put it with a sniper. And then also I run a perks slash recovery class as well, which we'll get into, and this is the crutch of my gameplay. So let's get into it. So we'll start off with the basic classes first. So these are the first ones that I'll often pick up out of a loadout drop if we buy them in and we get them in early. So here we are currently running a Scar, and we're currently running a sniper. I think the Scar is a little bit overlooked. I don't like the 30 round mag, I must say, but you know, it's just a gun, the flavor of the month gun. I may be using an M4 tomorrow. I may be using an Odin tomorrow. You know, it's just what I usually do. What I more often do than not, though, on this particular class for the assault rifle is that I do like to put the shotgun on there, particularly on rifles like the Scar, which don't really hold up that well in close range. And this basically gives you the extra versatility you need. So you got long range, you got short range in the shotgun, because that shotgun is actually really overlooked, and you've got everything else in between with the Scar or whatever other assault rifle you're using. The perks, again, these are down to you. If you hate getting killed by RPGs like I do, you'll use EOD. Overkill on this class is the must, because this is where I get the sniper rifle from as well for that extra versatility. And at the minute on this one, I'm using tracker just because I think it's quite an OP thing to have actually. Yeah, so the perks in here are down to your preference. If people are telling you these are the classes that you must run, no, you run whatever's cool with you, weapons wise. I will say that a C4 should be pretty much essential, though. It is so good against so many things. It's good against people. It's good against kill streaks. Well, I say kill streaks, vehicles, and it's just, you know, it's versatile, and it gives you a lot of options. The campers among you will pick a C4 or sorry, a C4, a claymore or a proximity mine over this, but I'm playing aggressive. That suits me perfectly fine. The tactical, again, this one's down to preference as well. Everything has its own place, even the smoke grenade. So yeah, whatever you feel as if you want to use, then put that in as your tactical. So yeah, as long as I'm covering that range. The next class that I'm rocking, if I don't think that I'm going to be on roofs, or if I don't think I'm going to be picking many fights at too much of a range, I will run a gun which has a pretty decent all-round stats. Excuse me, like a Bruin, for example. And on this Bruin, I'm basically just rocking a suppressor. I try to rock a suppressor with everything if I can. The gun's not loading in for some reason, but yeah. I'll just try and make this as light as possible, because the shotgun I've got is actually quite heavy, but the Bruin in this configuration is so powerful, and it gives me everything I need at range as well. So it's really good, that medium range, but it's a really good little picking people off from a distance kind of gun as well. Really good in helicopter battles as well. Yeah, and then I'm running the shotgun with that. So this is basically search and destroy. This shotgun is pretty much configured to kill people as quickly as possible. That 25 rap drum mag is, oh, it's so good. Yeah, the rest of it's just basically giving it range and a little bit of mobility to make up for this big F off thing. So yeah, now we're going to pretty much talk about the main part of your setup. So in Warzone, I am genuinely of the belief that you should be running a 2-class setup. So that basically means you will hit your first loadout drop, get a big power spike, because a lot of people haven't got theirs yet, and then when your one drops on the end of round 1 or round 5, you want to be picking that one up as well, to then make sure you've got your perks, or if you're dropping from a gulag later on in the game and there's a loadout drop available to you, you can get straight back into the action without any detriment to yourself. And the reason that I run it like that is just basically, yeah, you'll see why in a second, but basically the crack is you're going to be running fully loaded on one of these guns, and you're also going to be running your second perk of choice as well, because in Warzone I do find that the second perk, the red perk, is one of the more powerful perks in the game. And when you've got that power spike and you see you've got 3-4 people in your squad running that power spike as well, it gives you a massive advantage to everyone who's using overkill. So yeah, let me show you my setup for that. So the first one, I've just currently got a Bruin. As you know, the only reason I'm using this one, like I say, is just because of that 200 round belt, and it's a general really good all-round gun. The only reason that I would say, I haven't even brought that up there, so the only reason that I would say that it's, you know, like using a Bruin on the other one, that's just down to preference. Sometimes I use other guns on that. Sometimes you'll find I use an Odin on that. Sometimes I use, you know, like a marksman rifle on that. That's, you know, like I say, the guns change. But this one here stays the same. This doesn't change, this one. And the reason it doesn't change is because this is a really, really solid loadout. And you put fully loaded on here. Now, the reason that I'm putting fully loaded on here is quite simple. It's so when I come back from the gulag, I can land on it, pick it up. I've got 410 bullets. So if I'm dropping from the gulag with somebody, I can literally drop them 200 bullets, max ammo, and I can still have a gun full of max ammo. So yeah, that's why I run that. And you run that with your perks. So if you don't need, a class like this gun, you just literally go to this lower drop, pick up your perk selection, and then just pick your guns back up that you drop from your overkill class. So yeah, essentially you would just be picking up, when it works, you would just be picking up these two guns again. You'd be picking up them two. You know what I mean? So you use overkill for that one. That's your first loadout, and then you go into this one. You put these two weapons down. You pick these ones back up. That's how a lot of this. That's how I run my setup basically. So think of it like F1 cars, or like, you know, like the Grand Prix. So teams that will run a one-stop strategy, i.e. one box, they're gonna have potentially a good loadout, but people who have two are going to be faster than the other drivers potentially. But of course, it's that risk and reward. But for me, I think it's more simple that you just run it like this, because when you, like I say, you've got your perks there for your second drop. If you land and you don't only have time for one loadout class, and you don't want to have you stranded with no ammo, again, run this class. And the other loadout one I've got there is for the HDR in the same loadout as well. So it has my perks. So say, for example, if I'm using this class, okay, the shotgun's not working, I need my perks, then I can pick up my sniper rifle from this class as well, and it gives me the sniper rifle that I didn't initially pick up from this class. The second perk that you use is up to you. Now, let's talk about campers for a bit. A lot of you do camp, and it's not desirable, but it's fine. I'm not going to dig you for it. But yeah, if you're camping, you're using Ghost, aren't you? And that's going to be your second box strategy. Just means you got to come out and expose yourself. But restock I like to use because it does help me find you buggers. So yeah, so I like running multiple C4s. I like just having them on tap, essentially unlimited C4s. And snapshot grenades come in handy on that class. I do find myself using the stun a lot more because I do find it a little bit more effective in team fights, whereas the snapshot grenade is good for knowing where people are when they are camping. But yeah, that is pretty much my loadout selection. And like I say, I'm only running the 4 because I don't want to be like a little kid in a sweet shop when I have all these classes and I'm like, oh, which one do I pick? Like I go to a loadout box and I know exactly what I'm picking up. Yeah, so in conclusion, you basically want as much range as possible in your classes, and you want to have a separate class, at least a separate class set up with your perks and a gun with fully loaded on, so that can double up as your recovery class and your final class, because you've got all the perks you need for the final fights, and you've got the gun with full ammo there just in case you're not going to have time to pick up like other weapons or anything like that. So make sure it's a well-versed gun that can afford to not have an attachment on it. But yeah, that's how I run my classes, and I hope that was useful to you. Just a bit of a video on the cuff, as I had someone asking me a few days ago, how do I run my classes, and having a little look at other people's classes afterwards, I do find that not many people actually run it this way. So yeah, there's the knowledge. I'm not saying this is how you should run your classes, but this is how I run mine, so I hope it was helpful. If you like the video, make sure you hit like. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. If you find yourself here often, helps me out massively. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace. Ba 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 ba.